Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another live stream. We're going to be doing some more productivity sprints today. I'll give everybody a second to kind of pop in, but when you get here, feel free to drop in any like what you're working on and what your goals are for today. I have officially finished my outline for Project Rebirth, so I'm going to be drafting the first chapter, or starting on the first chapter, I guess. So if you would like to share what you're working on, feel free to do so. And in the meantime, I did leave a little prompt on the screen. I think that everything going on today is just a little scary, so can be a little stressful to live in today's world where there's all sorts of frustrating things happening in the world around us. So if you would like to share what you're doing this week to take care of yourself, feel free to drop that in as well. In the meantime, I think maybe we'll just go ahead and, we've got some people here. Hi, Renee. How are you? She says, hey, congrats on starting the first draft. Thank you very much. I am very excited. I finished the outline last night. It was definitely painstaking, and it took me forever, way too long to finish outline. But in my defense, my outline is 19,452 words, and that's like 52 chapters if you count the epilogue and the prologue. So there's a lot happening in this book, and I'm pretty sure it's going to be 2 books, which scares the crap out of me. So that being said, I am very excited to work on the first chapter today. I was thinking about maybe saving the prologue until later. So I'm gonna work on the first chapter, I think. What are you working on today? Let me know, and feel free to answer the prompt if you'd like. What is one thing you're doing this week to take care of yourself? And for anybody else who'd like to share what they're working on, feel free to do so. I am doing this new thing where I do like a random number to pick how long we're going to sprint for. So if you guys want to guess what we're going to land on, then we can spin the wheel. Kingston's here. Hi, Kingston. Got home from school and now tired. Also popped up to say hi, and I hope you and the others are doing well. Thank you so much for dropping in, Kingston. Really appreciate that. You're always so nice to pop in. You pop in like every live stream to just say hi. It's really nice of you. I think I'll continue my algebra homework. I think that's a great plan. Very great plan. Oh, you're so welcome. So welcome. I'm going to go ahead and leave this prompt up here if you guys want to go ahead and answer that during the sprint, of course. In the meantime, if anybody would like to guess how many minutes we're going to be sprinting for, feel free to do that. I think we're going to land on 40 minutes, personally. And hopefully the vibes are right. I do have the very rainy outside of my window here. So hopefully you guys can see that, and it adds to the vibe of the stream. Renee is starting with folding laundry and then going to be working on my mind map and brain dump. That sounds exciting. Are you brain dumping for anything in particular? Mind mapping for anything in particular? Let me know. So what do we think? How long are we gonna? Sorry, there's something in my eyelash and it's been bothering me all day. It just feels like there's something in my eye and I can't get it out. How long do we think we're gonna be sprinting for? I'm thinking 40 minutes. I'll give you guys 5 seconds to lock in your answers. Okay. I'm going to go over to the number picker wheel then, and we will just go ahead and spin it then. 50 minutes. I can handle that. Also, I don't know if anybody else saw that, but there's definitely lightning happening outside. All right, so we're going to do 50 minutes. I'm just going to get that on the clock. And I guess we'll just get started in 3, 2, 1, focus. Like, cannoli, did that scare anybody? Because it scared me. How did everybody do? We did have a couple of people pop in, so I'm going to just say hi really quickly. Araya is taking a break to recover from being sick. I'm sorry you've been sick. I hope you're feeling better. So basically just working and crocheting. What are you crocheting right now? If you're still here, what are you crocheting? I've always tried to get into crocheting or like knitting. I am terrible at it. I always make the rows too tight and then it doesn't look right. And I can't really ever figure out how to not do that. So I've tried it so many times over the years and have never been successful. But let us know what you're working on. Hi, Peyton. If you're still here, hello. How are you? Let me know how you did on that sprint. I didn't do the greatest. I got 199 words, but still did pretty good considering. The voice I'm writing in is a little hard to nail. So it's definitely more flowery than I normally write in, and I'm also writing in third person present tense, which is a change because I usually write in third person past tense or first person past tense. So my mind is like I'm struggling a little bit to not slip into old patterns and just keep it in the correct tense. So but I am very happy so far with what I did on that sprint, even though I only did like 199 words. Still really happy about it. Renee just finished crocheting a 9-month-old Afghan. Holy cannoli. Okay. That sounds really cool. That sounds really, really cool. Araya is working on a granny square sweatshirt and a blanket right now. I need to start another blanket. See, I even tried to do like the, the big thread, what are they called? They're like bigger in diameter and you don't use the needles. You just do it with your arms or your hands. I did try to do that and I pulled too hard and I snapped the yarn. So I don't know. Maybe I just like need to cool it. I think I'm like a little stronger than I think sometimes when I'm working with such delicate fabric. A few weeks ago. Very cool. Very cool. Peyton popped in randomly at the end, so I haven't actually started working, but I honestly have likely less than 10K left to write in this first draft. I just need to write it. You are so close, Peyton. You can do this. You can definitely do this. Hopefully you can stick around and do some sprints with us. We're definitely going to be doing at least 2 more, I think. So if you want to get some work done, feel free to stick around. Renee can only crochet Afghans, never really learned how to do sweaters or clothes and things like that. Yeah, I just want to like make a square or rectangle blanket or something like that, but I can't. Every single time I try, I can never get it right. My hands, first of all, I have like man hands. My hands are very small, but they're like, I have my dad's hands. Like they're very thick and just like, I want to say like brutal, but like they're strong hands. I have a very strong grip. And I sometimes forget that I can't like do that. Like I feel like you have to have a delicate touch when you're crocheting and when you're knitting. And I just don't have a delicate touch when it comes to things like that, unfortunately. I also have really clumsy hands. I'm just clumsy in general, you guys, if I'm being completely honest. If you want to hear some of my best clumsy stories, feel free to let me know because I love telling them because I honestly find it really funny, even though like it's probably not that funny, but I find it funny. Let's see. Pin says, I'm struggling to write the final scenes right now because I've done a sloppy job setting everything up. But it is a first draft. I've got to get over it. I totally understand where you're coming from. That's exactly how I felt when I was working on the last scenes of Project Daydream. I kept like writing myself into corners. But you can do it. I know you can do it. Just keep working on it. And if like, you can always write a scene twice, right? Like if the scene isn't working the way that you're writing it the first time, you can always try to go back and maybe approach it from a different angle that might help. Araya is just now branching out. Blankets are for sure my safe zone. Yeah. Also, I've sent draft 3 off to beta readers this weekend. So that's also part of why I'm on a crochet break. That's very cool. Are you excited about getting your feedback? I would be so nervous personally, like just waiting because I'd want to know what they were thinking like right away. I am really impatient about things like that. So I can only imagine what that's like. Let your brain rest and your body too. Yes, 1000%. If you've been sick, for sure, definitely. Take a little break. You deserve it. You've been working really hard. Does anybody want to share anything, or do you guys want to like hear my last line, or should we just go ahead and spin the wheel and jump into another sprint? Also, remember when I said I was clumsy? I am definitely going to tell you this one story. So bear with me because it's been a little bit since Okay, actually, no, I have 2 stories I want to tell. Do you guys want to hear about the time that I almost broke my leg? Or do you want to hear about the time where I somehow ended up accidentally pouring my smoothie that I had all in my hand over my head? Please let me know which one you'd like to hear, and I will tell you. In the meantime, I've got some share a line requests. So, okay, I'll share a line. And you'll have to bear with me because for some reason my voice is not working properly today. But I will share a line with you. The newest line that I have is, she grabs a dustpan and brush from beneath the counter and goes to work on the broken shards of glass glittering across the cold cement floor, careful not to touch the black powder spilling out of its remains with her bare skin. That's the last line. The first line of this chapter, which is the first chapter, or the first chapter of the book, is fresh purple-black bruises bloom across Delaney's shoulder, almost hiding the one she received the week before. That's the very first line of the book. Let's see. Araya says, I'm constantly checking my email. I want to know what they comment ASAP. Yeah, that would be me for sure. For sure. Oh my God, the smoothie. Okay, I'll tell the smoothie. Let me go through these comments real quick and we will tell the story. If it makes you feel any better, I've rolled my ankles like 8 times. Girl, my ankles are like always rolling. So I understand that 100%. I'm like the clumsiest person on the face of the planet. This is like kind of morbid, but I sometimes joke that I'm gonna like die because I'm gonna accidentally impale myself on something. It's almost happened a couple times, honestly. I'm literally the klutziest person around, and to like a dangerous extent. Before I jump into the smoothie story, I just want to like really quickly mention that I once tripped and fell into an electric fence. It was not very like electrified, but it was enough to shock me. So just as like a reference, I am literally like an accident waiting to happen. And my new book a series? If so, how are you planning the series? So this is a standalone, but it's open to being at least a duology. When I was finishing my outlining last night, I left it open. So there's definitely at least 2 book material. I'm just not exactly sure how I would take book 2, but I've set it up in a way in my outline that as long as I hit all of these specific points, that I can easily like plot out a second book at least, because it's sort of hard to explain, but there's a society in the book that I'm working on right now that's called the Fang of the First Flame. and they aren't the main antagonist in this book, but they do play an antagonistic role. And I'm thinking of like, how can I open that up into a second book to make this potentially a duology? It could also be a trilogy. It just depends on what other sort of conflicts I can come up with for future books. But I'm not going to outline like the second book until I finished at least the first draft of this one. So I have a better understanding of like how I could potentially expand on that, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay. If you want to hear the smoothie story, so I'll tell the smoothie story really quick, and then we can either tell more stories about how much of a death trap I am, or we can just jump into another sprint. Whatever you guys want is fine. So I used to work at this company called US Cellular. It's a cell phone company. I was a sales associate. Well, I started doing customer service, and I promise this is relevant. I started doing customer service, and then I transferred into the sales department. And I was on like this like really big health kick. And when I had transferred into the retail store, they wanted us to do these meetings like once a week in the mornings at like 7 a.m. So I prepared a smoothie for my time at this meeting just so that I could eat my breakfast early. It was summer. I was wearing these like Roman sandal things and like a Transformer shirt and a hoodie. I actually have a picture of it that I will be posting on Instagram at some point of me after the smoothie incident so you could see. Anyways, I went to go like take my sandal off for some reason. I don't really remember why. I think I was like just adjusting it or something. And I had my smoothie in one hand and I was like reaching down to adjust my sandal. And I don't know how it happened, but my sandal flew off of my foot. And when that happened, I went like this, and the lid from my smoothie flew off. It was in one of those like ninja, like the twisty lid things. It flew off, must not have been tightened properly. And the smoothie literally flew up in the air and like landed on my head. And I have a picture of myself just sitting there with my eyes closed because it was literally like in my eyes. And there's just like smoothie from like here, like down to here, all over my Transformer shirt, all over my face, all over my hair. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know how that happened, really. I actually don't know. And it was funny because all my coworkers were there and they were like, they thought it was so funny. And they took pictures of me just so that I had the memory. But it was very funny. It was very, very funny. Like at first I was like, what the hell? Like then like the more I thought about it, the funnier it got. It's raining smoothies. Rip to the smoothie though. That's tragic. Oh my, did they let you go change? They just let me skip the meeting. I think if I'm remembering correctly, they're like, it's okay, just go home. Like you're obviously not like ready for this today, so just go home. They were really informal meetings. It was more of like, hey, this is our quota for this week kind of thing, and something that literally could have been an email. They made me get out of bed early to go attend. So they're just like, go home, it's fine, we'll fill you in later, sort of. So yeah, it was really funny. It was really, really funny. Honestly, I think the me almost breaking my leg story is even funnier, but that was actually really funny. Not gonna lie. But we can save that one for later. Let me know your embarrassing, clumsy stories in the chat, please. So I know I'm not the only one who like makes a fool of themselves on a regular basis, because like that's me for sure. Just like a month ago, here's another clumsy thing that I did. I was I had run out of coffee, so I ran over to a nearby coffee shop to get like an iced latte. I was on my way back and someone said good morning to me, but I was like mid sip of my coffee and I said good morning, but I was like trying to swallow and say good morning at the same time. And I like choked on my coffee and spit it out all over my shirt. So there's that too. Payne says, I swallowed a bee and it stung the inside of my throat. Thank God I'm not allergic. Oh my God. That sounds so painful. I'm so glad you're not allergic. Oh my gosh. It went in my drink down my straw. What? How the heck does that even happen? That's nuts. That is crazy. My mom's allergic to bees. So that like that kind of like that's so scary. Literally don't drink something outside without a lid. Yeah, that's so fair. Ray says, I used to do stuff like that at Starbucks all the time. I dropped a whole container of pumpkin sauce and had whipped cream explode everywhere, spilled hot water on myself and plenty more. Oh my gosh, yeah. Don't even get me started. I used to be a barista too. I think we talked about this, Araya. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure we talked about this. I was a barista, like it was my first job ever. I literally, you know, those like giant carafes of coffee, they were literally filled to the brim of hot coffee. I was emptying one at the end of the night, but I had just freshly made it like for the last hour. And I spilled, no one came in, of course. I spilled the entire thing all over me. Yeah, hot water burn, like accidentally. I actually still have a scar on my finger from when I went to go get one of the espresso, gosh, what is it called? The espresso cups. And I accidentally touched the milk frother after someone had just used it with like the tip of my, just like right here on my finger. Oh, I remember that very bit. That hurt. That hurt a lot. Anyway. Okay, I want to tell the time I almost broke my leg. I promise you it's really not that bad. It was pretty bad, but like the story itself isn't really that bad. Yeah, the burns they really are the worst. Like those milk frothers get so hot. But anyway, so this was when I was living in New Zealand. I was at a bar, we were doing karaoke. I may or may not have been intoxicated. That's not the point. The point is that I am a short person, you guys. I am 5'2" on a good day. Like I'm short. So when the only available seating is bar stools that are like come up to my waist, you know, it can pose a little bit of a problem. I had to literally climb up into the bar stool to sit, okay, just so that I could have a place to sit. So here I am climbing, literally climbing, like you see a little kid climbing onto the counter. That's how I was climbing onto this bar stool. And I went to go sit and I'm overcorrected just a little bit. And it was one of those bar stools that had like, it was like one of those metal bar stools with like the flat tops. And then they had like the really skinny metal legs. And then there was like two of those like supporting rings like around the legs, if you can picture that. And when I overcorrected, the bar stool went this way and my body went this way. But because the bar stool went this way, I kind of like fell as the bar stool was like coming underneath my body. And I landed right in between those two supporting rings and cracked my femur on one of the legs of the bar stool. And when I tell you, I had a bruise like this big on the back of my thigh for like 6 months. I can still see the outline, and that was almost 5 years ago. That hurt so bad. I'm actually surprised I didn't break my leg. And I was limping for like 2 weeks. I have pictures of the bruise. I won't show that because it's like really graphic. There were like purple, like red and purple, deep bruises. It hurt so bad. Yes, 6 months, Peyton. Like I had to have bruised my bone. Like it actually, I am really so. Everybody around me was shocked that I like just got up. And when I say I like just got up, I mean I like popped up and I was like laughing and crying at the same time because it hurt so bad. But I was just like the bar was full of people. There was so many people there, and I was not about to cry in front of everybody. So I was like laughing and like, oh, it's fine, I'm fine. And I actually had a bruise, like a bruise, like just a long bruise, in the same like diameter that the chair leg would have been, just across my lower back because of how I felt. Because of how I felt. Um, yeah, good times, good times. Yeah, it was actually really funny, but it hurt, and I limped around. Needless to say, I was in bed all day the next day. I basically just like acted like a couch potato. I watched movies and I read, and I didn't do anything else because that really hurt. And yeah, 6 months, 6 months, I could still see the outline of it if I look really closely. Like it's crazy to me. Have you ever had a bruise, like a deep bruise like that, and you can like still almost see it's like a shadow on your leg or your arm or wherever you get it for a really long time? Um, Yes, Payne, I did live in New Zealand for about a year. I moved there in November of 2019. I got stuck during the pandemic, and which was like actually really nice because I was actually staying at a hostel when it happened, when everything broke out. And so it was like me and like 40 other people. Um, and we just like we like made obstacle courses in the courtyard, and um, did like karaoke in the basement of the place that I was staying at, and had like family dinners and stuff like that. So I had like my own, but my bubble was like 40 people, was really nice. And obviously New Zealand really handled, in my opinion, they handled COVID really well. Probably a lot easier for them to do that because they're such a small country and they can close the borders down, and it's not easy for people to get over there, obviously, because they're an island. So yeah, it was good times, good times. Lots happened over there. But anyways, those are my stories. Sorry to talk your ear off. Shall we do another sprint? If we should, let me know. Here are our options. We've got 55, 45, 40. The only one here that's missing is 50 because that was our last sprint. So how long are we going to sprint for, you guys? What are your guesses? I'm still thinking we're going to do like 40 minutes. I'm going to let you lock in your answers. You have 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, Peyton guesses 35. I guessed 40, or I think it said 40, if I'm not mistaken. All right, let's spin the wheel. Woo-hoo! 35. Okay, well, let's get some gold stars in the chat for Peyton. I did get this idea from Evelyn's stream, by the way, for anybody who's in here. I just think it's such a fun idea. So I kind of appropriated it for my channel. So yeah, feel free to give her some gold stars because yes, holy shit, 35 minutes. Peyton won. I'm gonna go ahead and get the timer set up. All right. If everybody is ready, we are going to focus in 3, 2, 1. Whew. How did everybody do? Sorry about that. I had to wrap up a sentence. Yeah, I'm making slow progress today. I did 362, 163 words on that sprint. Let me know if you would like a line. I'm fully ready to share. Also, anybody would like to tell me how you did on that sprint, please let me know. If you are writing, feel free to share last line. We love that here. Peyton says, slow progress for me today too. I got 288 words. That's still really good. 288 words is really good. And any progress, even small, is still progress. So great job. Great job. By the way, you may see at some point some thunder and lightning back here because it has started for the night. I'm wrapping up work, so I'm about to head out. Hope everybody did well. Well, thank you so much, Araya, for being here. Have a safe drive home. And I'm glad you're finished. You can go home and rest. Would you like to share last line, Peyton, or anybody else in the chat? If you want to share a last line, feel free to do so. I can share last line too if you would like, or a line. Should we do favorite lines? I would like to do favorite line. I'll share a line. Let me look for one. Okay. While you're doing that, I will share a line. Actually, how about I just read you this last little paragraph? Okay. She recognizes it as a poison when she's used before. Touching it would not kill her, but the blistering rash and fever would leave something to be desired. That's my last lines. It's just a couple of sentences. And now I'm at the part of this chapter where I'm introducing, well, I'm not really introducing the love interest, but she like spots him through a window as she's working. So I've kind of transitioned into starting that, and I'm trying to figure out a way to describe him or in a way that like she would describe him, if that makes sense. But yeah, I actually added a lot and changed a couple of words around from the last line that I've shared as well. But anybody else would like to share what they're working on or how they did on the last sprint? Please let me know. I do have a question for you guys, though. Tell me, have you ever changed up the perspectives that you write in, or do you usually like stick to the same ones? Because as I mentioned during the last break, I usually stick to third person past tense or first person past tense. And this one is third person present tense, which is, it's making me struggle just a little bit, just like a really little bit, because my brain wants to write in past tense. So, but I feel like this book just needs to be in present tense. So my brain just is gonna have to get used to that, I guess. Payne says, I used to do third person past tense in my old fantasy project. My current project is first person present. It is difficult to get used to at first, but now I no longer struggle. Well, that's good to know. That is very good to know because I am having a time. It's just like, it's different because I feel like with present tense, you start each sentence like differently than you would in past tense. At least for me, that's what I'm finding. And it could also just be because of the voice that I'm trying to write in. But yeah, it's just, I'm running into some little hiccups here and there, which isn't very good. I mean, I'm hoping that I can work it out and to get used to it. But hopefully, before the next chapter, I'm hoping it doesn't take too long for my brain to like wrap its mind around that, because that's going to be this book. The project target for this first draft is 150 words, or 150,000 words, excuse me. And I don't think that struggling for the whole time is going to be feasible, because I really would like to finish this first draft before the end of the year. That's the goal, but we'll see. Okay, Peyton has shared a snippet. Julian slumps in his chair, head lolling forward. Blood dribbles from his nose over the raw steak on his plate. And you call me demonic, he spits. Only for you. I smirk. You were mine after all. Ooh. Very cool. I love that. I want to know what's happening in this scene. Like, I need context. You don't have to share your context if you don't want to, but I'm interested in knowing more about this. It's very nice. Any questions before we jump into one last? I think we'll do like one last sprint, because I would really like to get at least 500 words down today. So anybody? The context is diabolical. I'm sure it is from that snippet. Spoilers for my ending. Okay. I love that. Does anybody have any questions before we go ahead and jump on to the next sprint? Because I'm ready. If y'all are ready, I'm ready. I still think we're going to land on 45. Do you want to guess, Peyton, or anybody else who might be lingering here? Would you like to guess how long we're going to sprint for? 45? That's my thoughts too. I'll give everybody 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, answers are locked in. 45 minutes. Minutes. Okay, well, that's not too bad. 40 minutes is definitely a good chunk of time. I think we can get some good work done in 40 minutes. Yes, so close, Payne. So close. All right, are we ready? I'm ready. All right, let's do this in 3, 2, 1. Focus. Oh my goodness, how did everybody do? That sprint, I did really well. Didn't quite make my goal for the day, but I did pretty good. Let's see. So I wrote 397 words, so decent. Could be worse. How did everybody else do? Holly wrote 2 sentences. That's okay. That's so fine. Does anybody want to share last lines? I can share last lines. I'll share this last little tidbit. It's a couple of lines, honestly. A new shop meant Vesper had a new rival. It fell to Delaney to dispatch them, mostly with poison. Unless Vesper had a particular hatred for the newest owner, then she was required to use her dagger. Her heart sinks at the thought, but she nods. May I eat lunch first? She asked, tucking the paper into the pocket concealed in her skirts. So that's my last little bit. I got here late, though. Yeah, I know you were driving or something, but still 2 sentences is 2 sentences. You did a good job. Peyton wrote 641 words. Wow, that is nuts. Great job, Peyton. Great job. You made a good use of that 40 minutes. All right, guys. Anybody else want to share last lines? I am getting tired and hungry, you guys. I might have to call it. We have been at this for 2 hours and 50 minutes, though. So I feel like this is a good place to call it a night. My cat keeps walking all over my keyboard. He wants to write. Yeah, I think he does. Is that how you got 641 words? No, I'm kidding. You have a ghostwriter in your house. Yeah, so I am doing these sprints now these live streams now every Wednesday at 5:30 and every Saturday at 8 a.m. So that is when we sprint. But I do think I'm going to call it a night, guys. I am tired. I need food and I need sleep. And I also want to take a little time to do, I might play some video games or something before bed as well. You know I won't make it to the Saturday ones. Yeah, I know, Holly. I know. Holly is my friend here in my city. She is definitely never going to get up that early, so that's fine. This was fun. Got about 1,000 words. I'm so glad that you got some good work in today. My total for tonight's sprint stream was 759, which I think is good considering the fact that I am writing in a different tense than I usually write in. So I'm going to take it. 759 words is nothing to scoff at. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being here. I am going to let you go. I desperately need to eat something. I'm so hungry, and I think my dog wants to go outside as well. So thank you so much for being here. Again, every Wednesday at 5:30, every Saturday at 8 a.m. Central Time. If you would like to go over to my page to hit the notify button. If you haven't done so already, though, please subscribe and like the video. And I guess I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.